Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Some of you have heard my icebreaker speeches before, but most of you have not. But for those of you who have, I'm on a new path, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. This is me when I was 12 years old. It was Christmas time. That's my brother Dale next to me. And sitting on my glasses is perched a parakeet. We used to have a parakeet in our house. We had a dog, no cats, they don't mix. But I was born and raised in North Dakota. And once I finished high school, I came down to Phoenix because when I was in physics class in my senior year of high school, in mid-year, a recruiter came from DeVry, and I thought this is a great way to get an education and immediately start on a job and earn money. So while I was attending DeVry, in the mornings, I would work at the Del Webb Townhouse. That's that tall building in the picture. It's still there today, 100 West Clarendon Avenue in Phoenix. The building next to it is the Continental Bank, and that's no longer there. If you go there, you will not find the Continental Bank. But that's what I did. I earned a AAS degree, that's Associate of Applied Science, and that turned out to be useful. Because once I finished DeVry, I realized I wanted to be an engineer and went to North Dakota State University to get that degree. And I worked weekends, holidays, and evenings at a television station, and that paid my way through school. However, before leaving, I managed to pick up a wife. Her name is Sharon. And that's us. We were so young, we had hair and we were thin in those days. Once I graduated from North Dakota State University, I accepted a career with Motorola Government Electronics Group down here in Scottsdale back in 1974. So from that time until 2006, I worked on a number of interesting projects. One of the most interesting of which was the Voyager spacecraft. We actually did the transponder, which is a specialized radio for that. And I had just been out of school, so I wasn't doing any design, but I had to do the analysis. I did a fault analysis, and that turned out to be useful later on. Oops. We had a problem having children. We tried for 13 years, and my wife and I didn't have any children. We gave up. So we decided to adopt. So we adopted a little orphan who was born in Hyderabad, India. And we were shown her picture in February of 1983. And, 1984. And October 29th of that year, she arrived by plane, and she was our adopted daughter. And then, in the meantime, we had a foster kid placed with us, whom we later adopted, and so that's what our family looked like in the late 1980s. It was myself, my wife, Kimberly, and Joseph. We then had our own 2 biological sons, and this is a picture of a vacation trip to Wyoming where my mother was staying. That lovely white-haired lady in the background is my mother. Next to her is Kimberly, now a few years older. On her left is Joey, and in front are Stephen and Peter. Joe married in 2008, and he inherited a son named Nicholas. That's a little guy with the glasses. And the little girl was born in June of 2008. Her name is Haley. In 2009, Kimberly had met and dated the son of Indian immigrants. His name is Sonal, and they were married in Deadwood, South Dakota in May of 2009. And that wasn't good enough. They had a Indian wedding later that year in November, which is fantastic. If you've ever been to an Indian wedding, it's an event not to miss. In June 2010, their first boy, Arjun, was born. That was rather unique. If you've ever seen a newborn baby, usually you have to support the head. You didn't have to do that with Arjun. On the night he was born, he would sit up and hold his head and look around. It was amazing. That's very unusual. He had a cousin named Radha who was born in February of that year, and that's them together. They're great friends. And in July 2011, we had Nicholas and Haley. I spent a lot of time teaching Haley how to swim and spending a lot of Sundays with them, and I continue to do so. Then Samir was born. Samir is Arjun's younger brother. And that's a great picture of my grandchildren. On the right is Haley, next to her is Arjun, next to him is Radha. Then you have Samir and Leela, Radha's little sister. I've recently taken a new path. I still have an interest in science and engineering. Melaleuca is very interesting to me because I credit those products for saving my life. So I'm very passionate about them and sharing it with my friends. Still interested in history and archaeology and Toastmasters and anything having to do with education, swimming, and of course, Green Bay Packers football. I think Jay is converted. He loves them too now. He talks about them a lot, more than I do even. So that is my new path. It's one that I love. I love living because life is such a great expedition, and I hope you do too, Madam Toastmaster.